Good morning.
Hello. I'll say again.
We are here.
We have lots of people already waiting, saying hello. Kind of going a little bit in reverse order. 'Cause I'm like, how far behind are we starting? Um, let's see. So, for anybody new joining us, if you have questions about ghosts, earthbound spirits, portals, negative energy, fairies, feel like we've added some more things to your repertoire. uh, Feel free to ask questions in the comments, and Marianne's going to give some answers. She does all the heavy lifting.
No, in this format, you put your 2 cents into.
My sarcastic snarking.
Yeah.
Natalie says, Marianne, have you ever been anywhere where you haven't seen an earthbound, or are they absolutely everywhere?
Yeah, I can't think of any place that I've been that I haven't seen them. I mean, of course, if houses are clear, there's no earthbound spirits in them, if they're seated. But no, just going out into the public because they are everywhere.
Except for maybe cemeteries, right? Because they don't really hang out there.
Yeah, but again, every now and then the one odd one comes to check on their, headstone to make sure someone's taking care of it.
Let's see. There's Swifty, Marnie. Hey, Brooke. And Carol. And our friends in Solon. Let's see. Margaret asks if you have spirit guides that you work with.
Well, spirit guides are from the light, and I don't see those. So, no, I know I've got them, but I've never seen them. I have 2 pictures, and I talked about it a few weeks ago that uh, an artist could take and draw a picture of your spirit guide just by holding something of yours. And it's pretty accurate.
We have a local lady, but she kind of goes in and out of like being here and then not. She does really cool spirit guide drawings, and she'll be actively out working with clients, and then all of a sudden she's just like gone. Nobody hears from her, sees her.
That's the way this guy was. He just appeared, and years ago, I with another person did psychic fairs, and so if we were going to have somebody there, it's with the same thing you do. If somebody wants to read at the store, you have them read you so you see how accurate they are. Mm-hmm. So this spirit artist came, and I said I need 2 pictures, and I gave him 2 watches, and I didn't tell him who they were, man, woman, nothing. And it was very interesting. As a matter of fact, Ted, would you bring those 2 pictures in here that Michael did? I'll show them to you, but I won't tell you whose is who. See if you can figure out whose is whose. What, Ted?
Is this a no-brainer?
This is a no-brainer, you think? Yeah, maybe not. You don't know.
Could stump us.
Yeah, take the dust off the top of them, because I'm sure they're dusty.
It's white.
Yeah, we don't want any dust falling in the picture here. So. Okay, here's the first one. And again, I won't tell you whose it is.
Hmm.
See the big sword coming down?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Okay.
so that's the first one.
Not what I was expecting to see in a way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was shocked because I had seen other spirit artists where they're fluffy and sparkly and everything. And it's like, whoa. And then here's the second one. And obviously one is Ted's and one is mine. So here's the second one.
Hmm.
So now I'm sitting there trying to figure out whose is whose. One is mine and one is Ted's. And because this one had this business coming down looking right to the head,
Mm-hmm.
I thought, well, that one he probably did for me because, and the other one, and because one was a lady's watch and one was a man's watch,
Mm-hmm.
I figured the sword coming down would be Ted's.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're sitting here talking, and I said, "Oh, these are pretty unique." I said, "This is pretty cool." He said, "Yeah, but it's really odd." I said, "What's that?" He said, "This one," and he pointed to the one with the sword. He says, "That one's off the lady's watch, not the man's."
See, I was going back and forth. Rebecca automatically said the sword was for you.
You're right.
And City even says for you.
There you go. See, everybody saw that before I did. I figured it was mine, but then if, like I said, but you don't know what people do. But seeing, and like I said, I specifically wanted to be a man and a woman's thing. So,
Mm-hmm.
but it was, but like I said, that was done 35 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So,
Well, and I mean, granted, a lot of the spirit guide or spirit work like that, that is meant for your guides. Faces swirly, not so clear and the fact that that artwork was so crisp, clean, and not smudgy and fuzzy, as a spirit realm is. That's very unique.
yeah, when I asked him, he said, "Do you know whose watch is this?" And he held up mine. And I said, "Yeah, I know who that is." And he said, "This is a lady's watch." I said, "It is." And he says, "What does this woman do?" I says, "Battles ghosts." He said, "Oh my God, you're kidding me." And his eyes got really big. It's like,
Well, see, at first, the sword, knowing that Ted had been enlisted, I was going back and forth. I'm like, given what you do versus Ted having, Vietnam,
right.
that's why I'm like, ooh, that could go
Yeah.
either way, knowing both of you.
And that's chalk. That's all that is chalk on paper. So, yeah, but, there are so many people out here that have so much talent if they could only figure out how to use it, because I think everybody has ability to do something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I really like that artwork. And somebody in that one of my first impressions said the sword being, could it be Saint Michael, Archangel Michael?
Right.
Um, yeah. But that was the first. And so at first I was thinking Ted because of him. And then I'm like, but also you for what you do.
Right. And and I can't show it because it's 5 feet long and 4 feet high. But that angel artist, Katie Russell, she did do me a Saint Michael the Archangel beating down the snake.
Mm.
That's all done in oils.
Oh, wow.
I, that was a very strange place. That's never happened to me before. She, I mean, her angels see angels, so she paints beautifully. But she had a terrible problem at her house. That's how I met her. She called me up to take care of her house. And it was February, and it was a ways away from here. It wasn't close. And the weather was going to be okay, so I went out. And she also had, beside the house, in the far part of the yard, she had a little pottery studio. She
Oh.
said, "Can we go check that out too?" And I said, "Sure." So we start to walk. Now, if you don't cut the grass the last time in the fall, it's sort of taller.
Mhm.
And there was ice crystals on it. There were patches of snow here and there. And I don't know if you know what those rubber ducks are. They're like boots, but they're loafers, they're rubber, they're like navy blue. So I had these things on. And I'm walking down. We went to the little pottery shed and we're coming back up, and it's a little up ramp, like a little bit of a hill. And I glanced down to make sure where I was stepping. And I swear it has never happened in my life. It hasn't happened since. There were millions of tiny spiders everywhere.
Oh no.
Tiny little, they look like, and at first I thought they were ants. And I'm looking down at, you couldn't even see my duck because my rubbers that I had on, because they were covered in these little black spiders. I, that house, the devil, I swear, was trying to stop that lady from doing good work. And that was part of it. That I had never seen anything like that before with those spiders. Never.
Hmm. Luckily, I've never had. Not that I'm afraid of spiders, but they do make me pause for a minute. I'm like, now
Well,
we have
it's
to take
not
care of
that
you.
all I know is hairspray works really well.
Hairspray and a lighter? Is that what you just said?
Just spray with hairspray. It works really well. They can't go anywhere. They're dead.
Oh no.
You don't want to know what it does to the paint on the wall, but the spider's dead.
So if you rent, maybe don't spray a bunch of hairspray on the wall at the spiders.
Correct. Correct. Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Chrissy says, question. If you have nice spirits that keep coming in the house, how do you prevent them from coming in? Can I use sea salts?
No, Chrissy, and I don't understand why you wouldn't want ones from the light to come in, but because your house is totally secure, and we know that all you have to do, normally you do not talk to earthbound spirits because you give them more energy, but when you know your house is secure and clear and you've got them in the house, all you have to say very calmly, don't scream it, don't yell, "Who's ever here from the light, can you come back later because there's too many of you here," or "You're disturbing the kids now, would you leave?" They have to listen to you. They're from the light. So that's all you have to say. You don't have to say anything else. You don't have to. Sea salt, smudging, that will not affect a spirit from the light.
Hmm. I was going to say, why would you want to keep out a good spirit?
Yeah, whatever. There are some instances, and the one that's the big one is that when parents bring home a brand new baby from the hospital, every relative on both sides want to see that child. And so there she is in her little bassinet with her little monitor right next to her. And the parents are there, and all they see are all these white orbs everywhere. That's ridiculous. They're bothering the baby. That's when you walk in there and you say, "Hey guys, let her sleep. Come back one at a time." And
Hmm.
like I said, if from the light, they have to listen to you.
Oh, Dawn also says hairspray stops bees and flies in their path too, in their flight
Oh, good to know. Thanks, Dawn.
path. Let's see. Melody asks, wondering if severe illnesses, short term, long term, that happen within homes also blow portals open.
No, they do not, because even if the person that is sick is having a bad time, and some of them, depending on pain or whatever, that is not the kind of angry, negative energy that would blow open a portal.
Okay. Mad Hatter says, would not washing the Quincy charm affect its ability to keep spirits away? Because I was wearing it and got scratched, and I know I hadn't washed it in quite a while.
No, it does not make a difference because you don't have to wash it. You can, like the gold tone ones or the sterling silver ones, you clean them with the cloth if they start to tarnish. You can put them in liquid jewelry cleaner, but no, it does not affect them at all. Are you sure that you weren't scratched by a little folk?
Mm.
See, I would question that right off the bat if you've got your charm on you. That would be impossible for a ghost to do that to you. Unless you were 6 feet tall and they scratched your big toe, because it's only good for 3.5, 4 feet.
Cindy asks, good morning. Recently, so many people have been cremated, but are they waiting to have the celebration of life? Does this mean that they are hanging around till after the celebration?
You know, Cindy, that's pretty much their choice. If they are seeing people in the white light that they really, really want to see, they've missed really bad, then that's a reason that they may leave before the celebration. But then there's some that want to see the celebration. But most of them can figure out, and only because of COVID and so many people that were put on hold to dispose of the bodies, properly, that the celebrations were later. And some of them were there and some of them weren't. Um, and I know this that the one that was earthbound that was at his celebration said that when they were in, I'm referring to people that were on died from COVID, that when they were being tubed and nobody could come and visit them, that their relatives from the light were coming and said, as soon as you see the white light, go into it, because they can still talk to them in that state, not when they finally die, but before they die. So, but it's up to the person. Again, free will. They can do what they want.
Helen asks, would you recommend not burning sage before a Zoom with Marion, meeting with you? And should I keep my quinseed on?
Oh, yeah, you don't have to burn. I mean, if you want to, it's fine. It doesn't make a difference. I'll still be able to tell with the Zoom. And no, you absolutely keep your seat on you. Do not take it off. If you have something in the house and it's anywhere in the house, I'll be able to tell.
We've talked about this kind of briefly before, about when our service members come back, how they bring things back with them. Did Ted happen to bring anything back with him?
No, he did not. And Vietnam wasn't as bad as World War II veterans bringing stuff home. The veterans from World War II, I didn't run across that many from World War I, but World War II, there were so many Japanese things that they brought home with them. And yeah, there were some ghosts definitely attached to some of their things. Absolutely.
Hmm.
Plus the fact, think about this too. Look at all of the war items that apparently you can buy on eBay. And I would suggest anything like that, when it gets delivered, put it in your garage and smudge it before you bring it in the house, because you don't know who, what, or where somebody is coming from on that.
Hmm. Last weekend, Phoenix and I were at a like an antique store, and it looked huge on the outside. And we were kind of looking to see if it was big enough to maybe do something. And they had whole cases full of just World War II, helmets and guns and parts of uniforms, this and that. And, I just kept thinking, like, I'm sure this building is real fun, on certain days or if nobody's really paying attention. Um, they didn't really have a big enough space to do anything. But I'm like, I bet this would be a fun
Fun
event.
thing to do. Yeah, antique stores are usually full. Um, They really are. And the thing is, World War II, it was, well, any of them actually. The important things to try to avoid are swords, guns, knives, anything that can be used as a killing utensil or item. Uh, those are the things that if you have those, there's a very good chance you may have something attached.
Hmm. Let's see. Amanda asks, do evil people become devils when they die? I know where Putin is going.
Well, I agree with you, Amanda. I'm sure he's going to hell too. However, no, just like when you die, you don't become an angel. Angels are angels, and devils are devils, and they are two different species. And no, you do not become an angel, you do not become a devil.
This is an interesting question here. Does burying some quinceys in the foundation of the house being built prevent negative energy and earthbounds to step on the property for forever? So does that keep them from being able to eventually get into the house?
Again, foundation, you'll probably keep them out of the basement, but remember they're only good for 3.5, 4 feet. So no, you have even the top floor, it would never reach there. Now, when people are building new homes, I will give them seeds to put on their doors as soon as the house can be secured. In other words, the roof is on, the windows are on, the doors can be locked so nobody can get in. If that's the case, then I will give them seeds because they could be put right behind the molding because you don't have to see the seed for it to work. So we've done that. Um, but it wouldn't work, it wouldn't do anything for the foundation.
Hmm. So Rebecca wants to know which of these are more haunted, college dorms, hospitals, or antique stores?
College dorms, when they are in, and especially dorms that, well, let's face it, some dorms are party dorms and some are not. The party dorms, probably. Hospitals, especially the emergency rooms, if they're a city hospital, and antique stores, yeah. The interesting thing since COVID, most of the antique stores haven't been open. So I
Hmm.
can just see if you live around an antique store, I hate to think what's been in your house since COVID because they've had to get energy from someplace.
Yeah, and Amanda was like, better smudge all your antiques.
It doesn't hurt.
Or doing the sea salt before you bring in antiques or
Before
things.
you even put it in your car, sprinkle some sea salt on it, correct. And if
Let's
you have blessed sea salt, that even is a little bit stronger.
hmm. So here's an option. So Renee says, I brought back the cemetery wreath stand to reuse, and I redecorate the wreath for next year. Never in the home, in the garage, and I sea salt wash them. Is it bringing death to the home?
No, you're doing exactly the perfect thing. You're doing exactly what you should do. No, absolutely not.
Let's see. Chrissy has a follow up question. It says, my mother in law and my dad will come to visit in the pictures when I take them. Why are they showing the memories that I've seen? So I'd say they're just coming back to visit you. I think we're missing part of her second question. Uh, yeah. So, I mean,
Would
you would,
visit, I'm sure you've got children. I'm sure they want to see their grandchildren. And, you know, are they only showing up on anniversaries or birthdays or holidays? You know, they're like I said, they're just grandparents can be pushy when they're alive, apparently, or dead.
uh, Melodies asks, do the house blessings that Catholic priests perform also include them closing portals that have been opened in the home?
No, they don't have a clue. Absolutely not. All they're doing is bringing in the blessed holy water, which they can use, and And some of the priests go to extremes and bring in lit incense. Some of them just walk around with the cross and put the markings over the doors. So it just depends. And again, it will work if you're it will work 3.5 weeks probably for sure. If you're lucky, you can get 5 weeks out of it. That's why smudge sticks actually, even though you have to do them more often, they work because you're not going to have a priest come in every 3.5 or 4 weeks. That's not going to be happening.
And Rhonda asks, do Earthbounds get stronger in war zones?
They have plenty of energy, of course, but no, they still get stronger with the phases of the moon. The week working up to a full moon, the day of a new moon. So those are still the days that they have more energy than ever. But they got plenty of energy in that type of a situation. I'm sure it was the same thing at the Olympics. I'm sure it's the same thing in uh, any kind of war zone, anything like that.
Pam asks, how long does blessed sea salt power last? You mentioned one time that the blessing fades.
Not on the sea salt, not on the blessed sea salt. It doesn't fade. When it fades is people have holy water. And when you get the holy water originally from the church, or you have it blessed by your, priest or minister, it's at its peak then. So you use it, and now you're down to half. You can actually put tap water in that to bring it back up. It will still all be holy water, but it won't be as strong as it was before you diluted it with water.
Hmm.
So that's referring to water, not to sea salt.
Cindy says, I think I should sea salt my daughter every time she leaves the house.
Look, do what I learned to do with our girls. The minute they walked out of the house, they were covered in a white light. Every time they got in their cars, they were covered. The car was covered in white light. Just, just throw white light over them. And like I said, that's what we did with our girls. And the girls knew it because they would be off at college, or one of them would call and go, Mom, I'm having a really bad test at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Send me some white light. Oh, yeah, don't forget the time change. Well, if you're going to send it, do it right, right?
Let's see. So there's been conversation between a few of our friends online, and it's kind of hard to show all of it because there's a few people talking, but about how the white light at the hospital for somebody to pass. And I know at times that there's priests that will come in, especially for people who are not claimed. So the discussion is the white light in a hospital. How many people are going in versus going out, and is is it because maybe the perception is if it wasn't their light when they first passed, that they're not allowed to go?
And right there, I think a lot of them think that they remember their own when they died and they didn't use it. And now they're sort of, I don't think I can use it. Well, you can. And when I do like a county jail or a hospital, and it's like the Pied Piper, you see, say, hey, come on and make the white light. Hey, over there, come on over. You want to go? Get in line. And I will keep it open as long as I can, and as many as can walk in can walk in. Take a break, tell them to hold up, take a swig of water, and make it again, and until they're clear. But again, it's the ones that want to go into it, not the ones that, again, it's their choice to go into it.
This is an interesting question. Amanda asks, does holy water work on non-Christian ghosts like Muslims or Buddhists or pagans, or, pretty much anybody that's a
Yeah,
disease?
and it works on everybody, whether they believe it or not. Again, I'm a firm believer that there is one God with a bunch of different names. Why can't that is just too silly. in my world to think that there are so many different gods running around having feuds with each other because they're better than the other one. Please.
You remember Lovey, our friend Lovey, right?
Oh yeah, right,
And she was trained in integrated energy therapy.
right.
Melanie, sorry, asks if you have been spiritually tuned to perform the integrated energy therapy. Can you bless sea salt?
I do not know because I always have a priest do it for me. I had a couple bishops do it once, but and I had a dead cardinal do it once too, to be honest with you. But I don't, I, I don't know. I, I personally wouldn't trust it, but I guess you can try it and see. I don't know.
And I'm sure everybody is kind of wondering this. Can we send white light to Ukraine?
You know what? That's a very good idea, Rebecca. When we lived in Worcester, and again, that was 35 years ago, 40 years ago, there was a group that met once a month that did woo woo stuff. And again, that was, I mean, they had, you could have been tarred and feathered and rode on a rail. But believe me, that's how their religion affected Wayne County. Let's put it that way. So anyway, there was a really bad problem at the time. I forget. I mean, there's always it comes up, but it was a really bad. There was a big stories about all the drugs coming in and opium and all of that, and they were talking about. And I'm just going to give you the general because I can't remember 100%, but it was a place where they raise poppies. It's warm. It's not a cold place, and I mean, I'm sure poppies can be raised anywhere, but this was definitely a poppy place where all the opium was coming from. And there were 8 or 9 of us at this meeting, and the one said, "Why don't we all think of putting white light on the poppy field?" And we knew where it was. And we did. This meeting was over at 9 o'clock. The next morning on the news, all they talked about was the freak snowstorm that killed the poppies.
Hmm, interesting.
I'm just saying, maybe. Don't know, but it could have been. I'm saying yes. I like it, and I'm saying yes that we did that.
Let's see. Back to the discussion about veterans. Rachel asks, what about Vietnam veterans who suffered from Agent Orange exposure that took their lives? My father, I have his ashes. What do I do?
Again, when people sign up or get drafted to go into these situations, everyone knows that that is a possibility. I mean, you're not going to a party, and there are between PTSD, people losing limbs. I mean, it's heinous how many things can happen to people. If your father wanted to be cremated and that's what you did, then there is not an issue. How he died doesn't make it's not that important. It's that you've got his ashes. If did he want to be spread someplace specifically? Was there someplace he loved as a child? If he never said, that's something that you can do. Or you can hold his ashes and have it in your will that when you die and wherever your remains are going, he can go with you. So that's something you can always do also.
Yeah, the Gulf War is another one with a lot of issues.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's every one of them. Every one of them has got some kind of problems.
My dad, we're trying to get his percentage corrected for Gulf War because that one's recognized as its own illness now, whatever they injected the guys with.
Right. Well,
Caused
Ted touched on that too when he was in, and his hearing. the VA has hearing aids for him because of that. So, but no, it's with this thing with Putin and the Ukraine, it's so crazy that the section of life that we have lived in, we've seen already 4 wars in our lifetime. That's crazy. It's and I'm not talking about World War I even. It's just crazy.
Um, Sandy asks, can we become spirit guides once we've gone into the light?
Well, I know you can watch over your loved ones. I know that there was a grandmother that got the attention of her granddaughter, that her great granddaughter was in a bad position in her crib. There was something over her face, and she got her attention to go upstairs and see the baby. But the earthbound spirit told me that the grandmother had crossed over and was getting her attention. So that's really not a guide, but they watch over you and they do not become your guardian angel. That was given to you the second you were born. So, and it's not your guardian angel.
Hmm.
Just like a lot of people, which I think, I don't know, it's just a weird omen in my opinion. If somebody loses a child, they will have a tattoo of the child's face made into an angel on their arm or their calf or something. I don't know. I have a I don't like that for some reason. I just I don't know why. And it makes them feel better. It's okay, but I don't know why. I just think that's creepy.
And Amanda says, I bet Putin has already opened a few portals.
Yeah, I'm sure he has. Uh, he would be the one that it would be contrary, and he would have 10 people out of a portal around him at all time. Him and Hitler and Mussolini and all of them.
Let's see. Donna asks, how do you find out who your guardian angel is?
You have to go to a psychic that can talk to spirits that have crossed over, and that is a psychic medium, not a regular medium. I think, Melissa, is that the difference?
Yeah, mediums talk to people humans that have passed, psychics, and depending on the type of psychic, can talk to guides, angels. Um, Sometimes their psychicness is just the knowing of things coming up, not necessarily being able to communicate. So, knowing the difference of the types of people, because psychic's a big umbrella term, a lot of things are thrown up in there. Um, so, it never hurts to ask, like, what is your kind of psychic? And you can always, and Robin, I was also thinking this, there's meditations you can do for spirit guides, angels, animal guides.
You can get That's one way that spirit guides can talk to you, those through meditation. And everyone, it doesn't have to be that, it can be 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes before you fall asleep at night, 5 minutes starting it and making you fall asleep. There's nothing wrong with that. To practice calming your body down and letting your mind just take in what's ever around you. Meditation is the best way to do that. It really is.
Well, since you mentioned the woo woo, everybody's loving the idea of one. And Nancy um, asks, is there something we can do as a group every Wednesday with you both leading us on here for 5 minutes that would set a random white light intention, for instance, like for Ukraine, cancer patients, etc.? Look what you started.
Why don't we try to do that next Wednesday? Say, give people time. Say, do it at 10:30 a.m. our time, and who's ever here next Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, your time put in there right, and we'll just do a 3 to 5 minute intention. Let's do it for the Ukraine. Let's see what happens.
Okay. And for our friends that are watching on Instagram, I'm sorry, my hand keeps moving as I'm holding the phone one handed. If you can please join us over on our YouTube channel for that one next week, just to make sure, if you want to join us for that intention setting. So, all right, everybody, you asked, we got it. Next Wednesday, 10:30, intention setting.
We will try it. It cannot hurt. Sending positive energy to somebody that needs it as bad as they do. I mean, we've already taken 5. How many bags have we taken to the Ukraine church, Ted?
6.
6 bags already, and I got 2 more to go of clothes and stuff for them. It's a terrible thing. I don't know if I'm the only person in the world that does this, but I have a closet that is, well, not so much anymore, brimming over with clothes. Because whatever size I'm in today, I'm sure in 3 weeks I'll be wearing that smaller size in that rack over there. It's not happening. So Ukraine's getting them. So if I don't have to look at them, that's fine.
Well, and I've been seeing online, and hopefully for as much as this is being reported that it's true, people to help Ukraine, like if they don't have donation centers near them that are collecting goods, they are going on Airbnb and booking rooms or houses with Airbnb host in the Ukraine and then sending a message like, I'm not coming. Just take my money and use it as you need for your family, the people you're trying to help, which I think is a pretty good idea.
Yeah, people are really being generous, which they need it. I mean, I thought it was terrible when somebody told me about 3 months ago that Germany was collecting clothes for the poor people in America.
Mm.
And it turned out to be true. And that just floored me. I mean, yes, we've got people here that we can take care of, but at least they don't have, bullets going off on the top of their heads.
So now we have two things to maybe help our friends for next week. The first one is Pam. She says, I can't seem to do meditation. I have tried. I don't get anywhere. So how could she join us next week having trouble meditating?
Okay. One of us, and we'll talk about this because we don't have anything better to do, Melissa, but one of us will figure out how to start this thing next week, Wednesday morning. And even if you aren't really good at picturing something in your mind, your intention will work also. Mm-hmm. So just including your intentions with everybody else that's doing it. I will actually have a picture that will fit on the screen of the Ukraine so you can focus on where the energy is going. And like I said, we'll take it from there, but any intention, good intentions that will just pile up. Remember, good attracts good, just like bad attracts bad. So if we can get some good over there, maybe it'll dilute some of the bad that's happening.
And maybe, hopefully, if our friend Rebecca Harper is still on, maybe if she has time before next week, if she can send over some like meditative, music that we would be allowed to play that YouTube's not going to ding us for while we're doing this, that might help keep, that going. And then the next thing was Amanda says, I don't know how to make the white light.
Well, and again, like I said, your intent, you'll be with the group thinking it's a matter, you don't have to make the white light. You're just going to be thinking about the people there, sending them positive, good energy, which will be included with the white light that those of us can do. It'll just increase our white light. Make it stronger.
Right. Oh, and our friend Sandy is like, I'm so happy to hear that the company I work for just donated 1 million euros to Ukraine.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Oh, and Amy already did the thing of renting an Airbnb in Poland for a week for the families.
Oh, nice, Amy. Good for you.
So there's a lot of different ways. If you just cannot get to a drop off donation, there's other ways that you can help them. Let's see. Sounds like a white light flash mob.
Call it whatever you want.
Let's see. So yeah, I guess we'll be putting together. I don't know if and we can talk about this off the air, so we don't take up
Yeah.
any time. If we wanted a guided meditation or just a moment of like music and silent, let everybody focus on their own.
We'll think about it. We'll talk about it.
Oh, Amanda asked, can we take in refugees? I mean, we're not going to tell you what you can and can't do in your own house.
No, that's pretty much. I mean, I don't know where they're. I mean, right now, I think they're shipping these people to all over Europe. I don't know if they're bringing. Why not? I'm sure they'll end up here at some point too.
Yeah, I mean, you might.
You know, this part of Cleveland, Parma, is the Ukrainian center here. I mean, there are so many Ukrainian people that live in Parma in this whole general area. There's 3 churches I know of, 4 churches I know of, with it, probably within 5 miles of one another. So there's quite a few people here.
Yeah, and she says, I wonder if immigrations would allow it. And that's the thing. It's like, see what information you can get tiptoeing around. What your county, what your city policy, because it can even vary city to city, what you can and can't do for things like this.
Too. It's like when people, I mean, my grandmother and grandfather came over from Italy and became citizens. And for any of our paisans or relatives to come over from the old country, grandma or grandpa had to sponsor them. You were responsible to bring them into this country. You took care of them, you housed them, you made sure they got a job. They were your responsibility till they could stand up on their own 2 feet and care for themselves. And I don't know if that's something that is still even a law that you sponsor people. I mean, that's how Ted's mom and dad came from Poland. They were sponsored by an uncle in Amherst, I believe. So I don't know. I have no idea how that works now. I don't know. Grandma had lived on the east side. She lived on the first floor. It was an old house. There were renters on the second floor. And then the third floor she made into a rental also. And then it ended up being all people from Italy that they were sponsoring. So I don't know how you do that.
So, and Jules says 59 people on chat right now. Imagine the energy next week.
That's right. That's exactly right.
And honestly, right now we're sitting at 89 because this is streaming to 4 Facebook profiles, groups, pages, 2 YouTube pages, and a Twitter feed. So we've got 89 people from all of those all right now. And by all means, share it, tell people to join in next week. Hey friends, come join us over here. Click, this Facebook group, this YouTube channel.
Yeah, maybe once a month if we can see something that good came of this. I mean, within a couple of days after we do this, let's see if it gets better over there, or not as bad. Well, not better, not as bad. And maybe once a month we could do for cancer patients, or there could be a volcano that erupts someplace between now and then. So yeah, let's make the Ukraine our practice and see how that goes.
Yeah. So feel free, please send friends. And I'm sure even if your friends or family members who would want to do it, but maybe they're at work, when this goes on a replay, or when the one next week goes on a replay, they can fast forward to that and do it themselves again. So it would just keep adding to what was already built in that time frame.
And plus, if any of you can't be here at 10:30 tomorrow or next Wednesday, no matter where you're at, put your energy into it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It'll make it too.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, and if I'm crazy enough and I find a few extra minutes, I might be able to pull down the video, cut that part out, re-upload just that part into YouTube on both of our channels, because we stream to both, and then you can go back and redo that part whenever you want.
Right, exactly.
Share it out to other friends. Be like, here, this is the one we were doing. Here, add to this helping situation.
Right.
So, and there's some chat. I think City was the first one to say she believes now, yeah, you can only sponsor your parents.
Oh, thank you for letting me know. I wondered about that.
Yeah, Sandy says, yes, they need to be sponsored still, but a refugee may be different. So that's where it's like finding what those laws and regulations are. And
right.
Let's see. Oh, can the law of abundance be focused for the Ukraine too?
Unfortunately, that has to be written for yourself. You can't even write it out for your husband. Everybody has to write their own.
So I guess if you wrote out your check and you've got extra money, if you choose to donate it to help, I mean,
do it that way, right?
It's a refocusing or a redirecting of what you were able to get.
Right.
So yeah, what, next Wednesday at 10:30?
Yeah, we'll try that. Why not? We could do that.
We'll start our own woo-woo group, but it'll be
That's
online.
Right.
Let's see. So Annie says, hello, can you help me with my guides and communication?
Because I don't talk to my guides or communicate with my own, you would have to find somebody that has that ability. What do you think, Melissa? I don't really know.
Yeah, you would either need to like find a psychic who can specialize in that for you, or take the time, learn to do different types of meditation and making that connection yourself. That's free to do unless you buy books to read up on that or meditations to listen to. There's a lot of free ones I'm sure you'll find online, but you can learn to do that yourself. It is a discipline. If it's not something that comes naturally to you, it's a discipline you have to practice. And so many people are so quick to, if it didn't work within the first or two times, I don't want to keep trying anymore. I want somebody else to do it for me.
Oh, I tried it, it doesn't work. That takes practice to learn how to do that. That is not something that you just think, I'm going to astroplane tomorrow, so I'm going to do it. That's not the way it works.
Yeah, just like almost anybody can learn to draw, right? And you may start out with stick figures, and over time, as you keep practicing. So, well, just to be clear, we haven't said we're doing a woo-woo group in the store yet, which is as when
oh
we come
my
God. That could be a whole new meetup thing right there going on.
Oh my gosh.
Don says, stupid question. Does Law of Abundance expect something in return at a future date time as payback?
No, it does not. That is the whole thing with the universe, universal law. It's already there. You just have to ask for it.
Let's see. City says maybe we could all be on Zoom for next week, but that would be harder to do, I think.
Yeah, and there's only like 25 people, and everybody would have to be on just specifically for that. In other words, no questions, nothing like that. We would just be on for it would be more than 5 minutes, but no, I think this one, let's just try this first.
Right. Let's see, reading through little conversations. Oh, and Don said, "Whew, I didn't want to take something and not give something in return."
That's very kind of you, but like I said, it's there for everybody. The universe is generous.
Let's see, what time are we? Oh, we're almost at 11 already.
Yeah.
It seemed like it was going a little slower, and then all of a sudden, like
Kaboom.
it went. What is your 5:30 YouTube video about today?
Go scaring children.
Those jerks.
I just, you have no idea how angry that makes me.
All right. If anybody was interested in the Madison Seminary, we have rescheduled that to June 18th for warmer weather. So if you were thinking about coming and you're like, but it's going to be cold, well, guess what? Now it might be hot. So June 18th is the new date for the Madison Seminary. If you had already signed up, we automatically moved your reservation over. If that doesn't work, just let us know and we can refund you. The Merry-Go-Round Museum for May 1st is still on for May 1st and is open and has a space available if you would like to join us. Still poking around to add a few other places to our lineup to see what else we can come up with. That antique house was really cool. It was so crammed, and I'm like, you can't get more than 5 people in any little corner or any little.
And that's any antique store is. I mean, that's their business. There's a little tiny spot. They're going to stick something there. So there's as many antique stores as I've been in. I've never seen one big enough
Mhm.
To hold any kind of. And it was crazy because the one it's a video. I'm sure it's on my website someplace. But that one antique store I did for one of the channels. No, it was for Chevy, I think, because I got to drive around to Chevy and have I think it was for Chevy. They dropped off a brand new Chevy in the driveway for me to drive. GMC. What was it? GMC. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
GMC.
I mean, you're talking to the car guy. He knows.
That's right. I should know. But it was pretty cool though. So
Well, Ted,
and there's a photographer in the back. He says, "Okay, now put it." Oh yeah, put an address in. It had what's that called? Where it tells you navigation. Thank you. And he says, "Okay, no." He says, "You know how to do that. Put an address in." I said, "Is that sort of like a computer I'm looking at?" And he went, "Well, yeah." I went, yeah, no. Do we want your GMC to just die right here on the spot?"
Like, said, sure, let me touch it. If I break it, do I get to keep it?
That's right. That's right. It was candy apple bright red. I'm not kidding you. And it was so funny because my neighbor, we were in a condos at the time, and the neighbor ran over. She goes, "I thought you just got a new car last year." I went, "This is for a commercial." I said, "It's not a car." But it was a commercial that went ahead and did the antique store. So the whole thing was, but it was crazy between camera people and you can't fit anybody in an antique store.
Right. So people are asking if next week, besides the whole country, white light is Zelensky.
Well, you know what? We'll send it to the Ukraine and for it to do the most good where it's needed.
There we go.
Yeah, we won't, just the whole area. And of course, he's the president, so he should be able to be fit. He should get some of the white light too. Do you know he was on the Ukraine Dancing with the Stars?
Yes, let me tell you. Trying to go through social media and doing research for the store for like Instagram and TikTok and keeping up with these trends. Let me tell you how many thirst traps I have seen revolving around this man now. And I'm like, there's nothing else on my feed right now other than him.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, he's one of the hottest things out there right now.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it is pretty badass how he's standing up, and
Yes.
I love these little farmers that are stealing tanks and stealing them away. People on shorelines saying F you to the warships. Like, you go, guys. You're my kind of people. But yeah, it's all about him and how hot and sexy and badass he is.
Oh, that I
So
didn't know. I just heard he was on Dancing with the
yeah.
Stars.
And I'm like, I just want to research the trends.
Okay.
He is the trend right now. So let's see. Yeah, Don says, "Oh my God, internet research can lead you down a rabbit hole." That is true. Um, and Vicky, I'm sorry. She says, "Dang, I think I had my comments turned off. Not condiments, but ketchup, mustard. So you didn't get my questions. I did not. So that is the one thing on the Facebook groups. You have to make sure you have that viewing set to public, so I can see your comments over here on the back end. So not trying to ignore anybody on purpose, but it is a security thing that Facebook thinks they're helping with. So, sorry, you can always jump over to YouTube, either the Goddess Elite New Age YouTube page or Marianne Winkowski YouTube page. Those I think we've only ever had YouTube like glitch on us once in going on the 2 years we've been doing this. Whereas Facebook is constantly changing their stuff and it's hard to keep up with them. And now, last but not least, all of the happy birthdays coming for you. I had a slew of them ready to go.
When did you put that out there? I missed it.
I haven't said a thing. It didn't send. They just know, and they're all sending you happy birthdays.
Well, thank you so very much. I would like to just ignore them from this point on.
I mean, I'm not pointing fingers, but I think Renee may have led the charge.
Maybe, huh? Thanks so much, Renee.
And Ted's was just not too long ago too. So
yeah, it's bad. Amber's is January. Ted's is January. February anniversary. March my birthday. April Tara's birthday. The first 4 months of the year are really bad, and almost every one of my relatives is in the 4 months of 4. How do people get born in the same area of time? I don't understand that. Thank you, everybody.
It's funny. My son and I are everything's jumping here, are the last week in March. My dad's the first part of March, so we knock out a good chunk of immediate family within a week. It just in birthdays,
right?
So and then it's like spaced out between like my mom, my brother, and my sister. So but yeah, so everybody, please join us next week. Bring friends, bring anybody who would like to join in on the intention work. Again, YouTube is going to be the better place. And again, Marianne Winkowski on YouTube. Just search her name, she'll pop up. Goddess Elite New Age is our channel. It'll be on both. And if I'm feeling spunky enough and I have 5 minutes, I will actually pull down that video and chop out just that intention timepiece and re-upload. Definitely at least to the stores, and Miriam may have to get with Ted to upload it to your guys' too if you want it. That way you can go back at any given time and not have to fast forward through the video and get right there and do it as many times as you want.
Good.
So
sounds like a plan.
And Rebecca did said she'll get us something music-wise to help out.
Okay, cool.
So that's thank you, everybody. And you got anything?
Have a good week, right? Be safe. And oh gosh, it's snowing here.
Shh. You're not allowed to cuss online like this. Stop.
Okay, everybody, have a really good week.
Bye, guys.